Here we are now, back at the top of the hill. We're going to demonstrate to you what a novice driver would possibly do when faced with this situation. So we're in first gear, we're in the high gearbox. People think, you know, because they're driving on the road in that situation, it's the lowest. Look how fast we're going already. We approach the top of this hill, the foot goes to the brake, we crash out. Oh my God, hear that? This poor old car is taking such a pounding doing this. That crunch that you heard was the gearbox cross member smashing onto the ground as the engine went over at such high speed, or the front of the car went over at such high speed. The engine compressed the front suspension, it squabbed the tyres, lessened our ramp brake over angle, and caused we impacted at great speed there. Now, I was actually controlling a little bit by the brakes. A more novice person possibly would go over that hill with the clutch down, braking like hell, locking up the wheels. So, again, under control is the key word that we want to look for in this type of procedure. Okay, we're at the top of the same hill where we've just shown you how to do it incorrectly. Now I'm going to show you how it should be done. So the first thing you should do is stop the car. Get out of the car and actually go and have a look what is down the hill to check your angles of approach and descent. And you get back in the car and you engage low gearbox. If you have a problem engaging the low gearbox like we are now, don't panic. If you can't get that low gear lever in, all it means is that the actual gears are probably misaligned. Engage first gear, hold the foot on the brake and very slowly come off the clutch. And as you can see there, it's just slotted in nicely. All it does is lining up the gears. Now we're in first gear, the handbrake's coming off, and we're setting up the car for the hill. Already you can see the control that we've got. It gives us more time to set the vehicle up. It takes away a little bit of that fear and panic. Now the vehicle is set up and we're just cresting very gently over the top of the hill. You can hear the engine holding us back. Still hit a little bit, but not quite as much. But look at the control that we've got coming down here. We're certainly not compressing the front suspension, smashing the spoiler, and also then hitting the back tow bar as we pull away. Total control into second gear, and we pull away. Even though you heard the chassis grounding, believe you me, it was a lot less damage being done than earlier on when we actually hit it flying down there with 2 tons of car pushing down onto it. Okay, now this time this is a more extreme hill. This one's about 80-90 foot long and at least 45-55 degrees in places. So the diff lock is definitely in, my seatbelt is on, I've got my approach set up, I'm heading dead straight for it, and my hands are going firmly on the steering wheel to give myself that support. Now, on this hill, I know there's a few undulations. I know I'm actually going to sort of like speed up because I'm going to go into an axle twist situation. So I'm going to cover the brake and the accelerator with my right foot going down. That means that I can either accelerate to equalise the speed of the vehicle out, or I can brake a little bit as well, which will slow me down. So here we go. First gear, low box, diff lock in. And remember, the approach is very, very important. Try and ensure that both wheels on the front axle and both wheels on the rear axle go over evenly. And off we go. You can see the angle of the car in relation to the ground. And at the moment, we're going very, very nicely. But there, did you notice it? We just picked up speed and I just shot forward just a little bit when the engine braking got me back again. That was the moment that I talked about when we actually went into an axle twister. So, you know, how did I know I was there? Well, I know the ground very well, obviously. So please remember one thing. Always get out of the car and check. As I said before, just because there's a set of wheel marks there doesn't necessarily mean that you or your vehicle can do it. I've just come down an 80 foot, 45 degree hill. The maximum climbing ability is between 45 and 50 degrees of this vehicle. So now we're going to use quite a liberal amount of accelerator and an awful lot of momentum to try and get back up that hill. So second gear, diff lock in. You can hear the revs rising now. I'm accelerating into it and I'm really giving it all I've got now to get up this hill. And up she goes. She powers up the hill and ease off on the top. Looks easy. You probably saw the look on my face there because it is always a little bit of a terrifying moment, especially with a bit of a bend in it. But no problems at all there for this vehicle. Side slopes. What actually is a car's capability to go sideways? A lot of the time, it's you as the driver. How far dare you take it? Most manufacturers say that their car will tilt to a point of tipping over between 30 and 45 degrees. It's dependent a lot of the time, though, on the terrain and on how the vehicle is loaded. Let's watch Ed come along this side slope on the Discovery, and then we'll pick up 1 or 2 more points as he gets closer to us. Okay, Edward, if you'd like to come. Now, the first thing that Ed has done wrong, he actually hasn't got out and looked at the side slope. There's one thing I'll always recommend. Get out and look at it. This rock just here, a rabbit hole, anything that can unbalance the car if you're on that fine point between tip over and stability. Has he checked his load security? Has he looked in the back? Has the heavy suitcases? Has he got them secured down? In the moment in time, there's actually nothing on this roof rack. As you can see now, that top side wheel is just on the point. Look at that. That's nearly off the ground. If you try to pull away now, you'll see that wheel spin. Because what's actually happened here is that the weight has transferred. It's compressing the suspension on this side. The coil springs on that side are pushing the body over. Of course, the extra weight of the roof and the roof rack is actually accentuating it. It's making it lean further. A lot of roof racks are actually higher. So when you've got a load on them, they alter the centre of gravity even greater. It's fine here, but if Ed actually came closer now, that rock could actually kick him up. I'm just going to move this rock out of the way before Ed goes, because after all, it is my car. Okay, Edward, if you'd like to leave the scene. That just goes to show how high that car is. That's on the point of balance there. Now, as you can see now, Ray's coming in. Slightly narrower wheelbase, narrower tyres. Again with the roof rack on. But look at that one. That one actually sits higher off of the roof. So with heavy loads on the top there, again, that emphasises the side slope capability of the car. But it actually emphasises the centre of gravity. See, Ray is still a lot lower. Now, as he's coming into us now, if Ray holds it there, it actually doesn't look much of a side slope. And that's what most people are very unaware of. They're driving along and it doesn't feel much. We're just going to go over now and show you another situation. It's actually a slighter angle than this one. It's only about 25, 26 degrees. Side slopes. Here we are again at a different angle. Now, we just showed you one at quite extreme. Probably at least 42, 43 degrees. This one, however, as you can see, probably only goes up to about 28. As I said before, it's not necessarily the angle, it's the ground conditions, but also the driver. Let's just see what happens now when Ed does it all wrong. Okay, Ed. As you can see again, he's approaching it. Unfortunately, he hasn't got out and checked it again. But just what happens to this? He's actually oversteering into the hill. He's driven up too high. And look what happens now. That little bit of wetty, muddy approach as well doesn't help. It actually, look at this. Just watch this now, and wow. Now, if that was you, you would do exactly what Ed's done. If you notice, the car's actually said to Ed, it said, Ed, I don't want to be up there. But Ed has gone, yes you are. And he's turned the wheel into it. And look, as he's coming along here now, he's actually on full left-hand lock. A little bit more increase in resistance, so he's accelerated. So he's coming along here now, accelerating, and whack. Over it goes. Stop. As you can see, these vehicles transmit a lot of information back to you. When that car slid then, it actually told Ed, it said, Ed, I can't get any grip up here. But just like the novice driver, Edward actually misunderstood the readings and steered into it. As he steered into it, he increased the resistance going forward. So he accelerated to overcome that. And then he shot over here. Totally out of control. Now, Ed was actually doing that in control. But you as the novice driver could be accelerating and thinking, what the hell's happened here? And splash. That's it.